What if I told you the version of you that gets overwhelmed, makes excuses, and folds under pressure isn't the real you? What if that version is just a shadow, a survival mode identity built from fear, not power? Right now, there is a version of you that doesn't break when life hits hard, that doesn't run when things get uncomfortable, that doesn't need to prove anything because they know who they are. You don't need more motivation. You need a mindset forged in fire, one that thrives under pressure, commands emotional control, and walks through chaos like it's nothing. This isn't hype. This is the path to becoming the person no one and nothing can break. If you're tired of starting over, tired of playing small, tired of living like your greatness is optional, hit that like button and subscribe right now. 'Cause every week, I drop raw, no-fluff strategies to unlock your highest potential. And trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming. Introduction. Welcome to How to Become the Person No One Can Break, the audiobook designed to do more than just inspire you. It's here to rebuild you from the inside out. This isn't about motivation that fades in a day. It's about forging an identity that holds strong when life tries to crack it open. Over the next 15 chapters, you'll learn how to take back control of your emotions, crush distraction with elite-level focus, rebuild your self-talk into your greatest weapon, and create systems of discipline that don't rely on how you feel. You'll learn to seek pressure, not avoid it. You'll flip pain into purpose, and you'll master the habits, rituals, and standards of the mentally bulletproof. This audiobook isn't for everyone. It's not for people looking for shortcuts or soft advice. It's for the committed, those who want power over their mind, their habits, their identity, and their future. By the end of this journey, you will walk differently, think differently, and move through life with a quiet strength that no one can take from you. To help you integrate every lesson deeply, there's a free downloadable workbook that accompanies each chapter. Use it to reflect, take action, and solidify your transformation. And if you find value in this project and want to support more work like this, donations are always welcomed and deeply appreciated. Now take a breath, because the real work begins here. Chapter 1. The Unbreakable Standard. This is where the foundation is laid. Because before you can become the person no one can break, you have to know exactly what you're building. Let me ask you something. What do you stand for when no one's watching? Not what you hope for, not what you try for, but what you stand for, no matter the storm, no matter the struggle. That is your standard. Goals change, goals evolve, but standards, they define who you are. High achievers don't rise because they chase goals, they rise because their standards demand it. So today, we're going to begin this journey by setting something deeper than ambition. We're setting identity. Section 1. The truth about standards. Most people set goals. I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to be confident. But goals are destinations, not foundations. If your identity isn't built to support those goals, you'll collapse under the pressure. Let me say that again. If your identity isn't designed to support your goals, you will collapse under the weight of your own ambition. An unbreakable person doesn't rely on goals for motivation. They live from standards. A standard is a non-negotiable way of being. It's who you are, not what you want. Section 2. Why standards build strength. Think of the strongest people you've ever met, not physically, but mentally. They're calm under pressure. They're decisive. They don't need applause to keep going. They have presence. That presence comes from clarity, from certainty, from having a standard they refuse to drop. They don't need external motivation because they're anchored internally. Their strength doesn't come from hype, it comes from identity. And the moment you choose to raise your standard, everything else starts to follow. Your habits, your mindset, your circle, your results. Section 3. Setting the Unbreakable Standard. So, how do we do it? You start by defining 3 things. 1. What you will always do, no matter what. 2. What you will never tolerate from yourself again. 3. Who you are, even when no one is watching. This is the core of your unbreakable standard. It's not about being perfect. It's about being certain. Because certainty creates power. And when you live with certainty, you stop asking for permission and start moving with purpose. Section 4. The core 4 values. Now, let's get practical. I want you to choose your core 4 values. These are 4 words that define your code, your internal compass. Maybe it's discipline, integrity, focus, resilience. Maybe it's growth, courage, stillness, relentlessness. Pick for that light you up and scare you a little because they demand more from you. Your core 4 are your anchors. You return to them every time life tries to shake you. And if you live in alignment with those 4 words, you are already becoming unbreakable. Section 5. The mission statement. Now we take it further. You're going to write your resilience mission statement. This is a single paragraph that declares who you are and what you stand for, not what you hope to be, but who you already are becoming. Say it in the present tense. Make it bold. Make it uncomfortable. Make it real. Here's an example. I am a relentless force of discipline and peace. I do not fold under pressure. I make decisions from my highest self, not my emotions. I rise early. I stay late. I keep my word to myself. I am becoming the person no storm can shake. I am unbreakable. Write yours. Speak it. Feel it. Live it. This is your new baseline, not your peak. Section 6. Living the standard daily. Here's the truth. If you don't define your standard, the world will do it for you. It will tell you to slow down, to shrink, to settle. But once your standard is set, you will walk differently. You will speak differently. You will move differently. Because you're no longer trying to become something. You're protecting who you already are, and that changes everything. Section 7. Action plus reflection. Now it's your turn. Go to the companion workbook and open the worksheet titled Defining My Core Standard. You'll walk through the exact steps we discussed. Choose your core 4 values. Write your resilience mission statement. Define your always do and never tolerate code. And then commit. Not to being perfect, but to never breaking your standard again. Close this chapter by speaking your mission out loud. Speak it with belief. Speak it like you mean it. Because repetition creates reality. The journey has begun. And the old you can't come with you. Let's go to work. Chapter 2. Breaking the identity that breaks you. Here's the truth. The version of you that got you here cannot take you there. If you want to grow, evolve, and dominate life at the next level, the old identity must die. You can't think like the old you. You can't move like the old you. You can't keep the same habits, beliefs, and inner voice and expect transformation. Today, we go deep. We uncover the silent identity you've been living from and start the process of building one that aligns with your future, not your past. Section 1. The invisible identity. Most people live from an identity they never consciously chose. They were shaped by survival, by trauma, by environment, by repetition. You didn't wake up one day and decide, I'm going to be insecure. I'm going to doubt myself. I'm going to self-sabotage. But somewhere along the line, through enough repetition, enough rejection, enough disappointment, you formed beliefs about who you are and what's possible for you. And you've been living out those beliefs ever since. This is the identity trap. Section 2. Identity isn't fixed. The good news? Identity isn't fixed. It's programmable. It's a system, a collection of stories, habits, language, and expectations. If you can install it, you can uninstall it. And if you can uninstall it, you can rebuild it. But here's the catch. You have to be willing to let go of the version of you that feels familiar, even if it's comfortable in its dysfunction. Growth requires grief. Not of loss, but of the self you no longer need. Section 3. The 3 parts of identity. Your identity is made up of 3 layers. 1. The stories you tell yourself. 2. The habits you perform. 3. The expectations you accept. Let's break these down. The stories are your internal dialogue, the silent narratives that shape your self-perception. I'm not good at consistency. I always fall off. I don't like pressure. These stories become prophecy because your brain wants to be right, even if it's keeping you small. Next, the habits. These are the physical expressions of your identity. Someone who identifies as a high performer doesn't just try to be one. They show up as one. Their habits are evidence. And finally, expectations. The ceiling you set for yourself. What you tolerate. What you think is normal. This shapes everything. Section 4. The 3-part identity audit. It's time for action. In your workbook, you'll find the 3-part identity audit. You'll break down each layer of your current identity and evaluate whether it aligns with who you want to become. Start with your current self. List out the most common stories you tell yourself, especially under stress. Next, list out your current habits, the real ones, not the ideal ones. Then, write out the expectations you currently accept in your life about your health, your energy, your relationships, your income, your mindset. Now, be honest. Is this identity aligned with your future? Because if not, it's time to start replacing it, one layer at a time. Section 5. The shift from self-image to self-leadership. Here's a mindset shift. Stop trying to protect your self-image. Start leading your future self. Self-image is reactive. It's about avoiding judgment, staying safe, staying familiar. But self-leadership is about vision. It's about who you're committed to becoming, no matter how uncomfortable the process. When you lead your identity, instead of react from it, you take back your power. You're not at the mercy of your moods or memories. You become the architect of your inner world. Section 6. Rewriting your core story. It's time to write a new narrative. Take the biggest limiting story you've been living with, the one that shaped your decisions, your fear, your habits. Now, rewrite it. Replace it with a declaration of power, belief, and intention. For example, old story: I always give up when things get hard. New story: I am the type of person who finishes what they start, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Feel the shift. That's identity rewriting in action. Section 7. Living the rewrite daily. Rewiring doesn't happen in one chapter. It happens through repetition. Every day, you reinforce an identity, whether by default or by design. So from this point forward, you will speak your new identity aloud. You will move like that identity. You will act like that identity before you even believe it fully. Because identity is built through behavior, not belief. Let your actions lead. Let your language lead. Let your standards lead. The mind will catch up. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Go to your companion workbook and open the Identity Rewrite Map. Complete the 3-part identity audit. Write out your current internal stories. List your actual habits, the daily behaviors that reflect who you are now. Define the expectations you've been living within. Then, take the top limiting story and write a powerful replacement. Speak it out loud, every morning, every night, every time the old voice returns. Because the fastest way to become someone new is to stop acting like the old you. This chapter is your turning point. The person you're becoming is already in you, but you have to let go of who you were trained to be. Let's move forward. Chapter 3. Emotional Armor, Mastering Inner Reactions. Let's get one thing straight. If you can't control your emotional state, you can't control your life. It doesn't matter how disciplined you are, how clear your goals are, or how much potential you have. If your emotions own you, they will drive you straight into self-sabotage. High performance isn't just about what you do. It's about what you don't let break you. And most people are walking around triggered, reactive, and emotionally hijacked without even knowing it. Today, that ends. Section 1. The cost of emotional reactivity. How much time have you lost overthinking? How many decisions have you made from anger, fear, ego, or anxiety, only to regret them later? Reactivity is expensive. It costs clarity, it costs energy, and it costs power. And here's the truth. Most of your emotional reactions aren't logical. They're historical. You're not responding to the moment. You're reliving something from your past. Until you become aware of that cycle, you'll keep repeating it. Section 2. The space between trigger and response. There is a moment, a microsecond, between stimulus and response. It's the moment when someone says something offensive. The moment when plans fall apart. The moment when life throws a punch you didn't expect. And in that moment, you have a choice. React emotionally or respond powerfully. That space is where your freedom lives. That space is where emotional mastery begins. Section 3. Emotional armor isn't numbness. Let's be clear. Mastering your reactions doesn't mean becoming a robot. It doesn't mean suppressing emotion or pretending to be unaffected. Emotional armor isn't about being hard. It's about being solid. It's about being aware, composed, and intentional, even when everything inside you wants to lash out, shut down, or run. That's strength. That's presence. That's power. Section 4. The trigger gives response, gives power framework. In your workbook, you'll find the trigger gives response, gives power framework. Here's how it works. Step 1. Identify your common triggers, situations, people, or thoughts that consistently cause emotional reaction. Step 2. Define your default response, what you normally do when triggered. Fight, flight, freeze, complain, shut down, lash out. Step 3. Design a powerful new response, one that reflects your highest self, not your reactive self. And then repeat. Repetition rewires reality. You don't just try to respond better, you train it like a muscle. Section 5. Training your emotional muscle. Every time you respond with awareness instead of reaction, you build emotional muscle. You gain strength. You create internal safety. You stop being at the mercy of circumstances and start becoming the master of them. Think about it. When everyone else panics, you breathe. When someone tries to provoke you, you stay rooted. When plans fall apart, you adapt without losing your cool. This is leadership, and it starts inside. Section 6. Breath before behavior. Here's one of the fastest ways to reclaim the gap between trigger and reaction. Breathe, not just casually, consciously. When you feel yourself getting pulled, stop. Take one deep breath through the nose. Hold it. Exhale slowly. This resets your nervous system. It sends a signal to your brain. We are safe. We are not reacting. We are choosing. Practice it. Train it. Make it automatic. Because breath is the doorway to response. Section 7. Creating your emotional codes. Take your top 3 triggers, the ones that usually pull you out of your zone. Now write a new emotional code for each. An emotional code is a pre-decided response pattern. Example, trigger. Someone criticizes you. Default reaction, defensiveness. New code, I pause. I listen. I extract the truth, discard the rest, and respond only if it serves growth. Build 3 of these. Memorize them. Practice them. They will save you when emotions run hot. Section 8. Real-time response training. Start keeping track. Use the response training log in your workbook. Every day, track one moment where you chose response over reaction or missed it. Write down the trigger. Write your response. Reflect. This builds awareness. Awareness builds change. Change builds mastery. And mastery is what makes you unbreakable. Section 9. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the trigger gives response gives power worksheet. Identify your top 5 emotional triggers. Describe your default reactions to each. Create a new intentional response pattern for each. Then begin your real-time response training log. Each evening, reflect on one moment where you had the chance to practice. Did you show up in power or in pattern? This is how it begins. Master your reactions. Master your moments. Because the person who controls their emotions controls their outcomes. Let's keep building. Chapter 4. Pain is the portal. If there's one truth the world avoids, it's this. Discomfort is the fastest path to personal power. Not hustle, not hype, not surface-level mindset hacks. Real growth, deep, lasting, internal transformation only happens through pressure, friction, and pain. The problem? Most people run from it. But not you. Not anymore. Because today, you will redefine your relationship with pain and learn how to turn adversity into energy. Section 1. The lies we're sold about pain. From the time we're young, we're told to avoid discomfort. We're taught that if it hurts, it's wrong. If it's hard, it's bad. If it's painful, something must be broken. But here's the truth no one talks about. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the signal. The signal that something inside you is ready to evolve. Avoiding pain doesn't protect you. It paralyzes you. And if you keep choosing comfort, you will keep choosing smallness. Section 2. Pain reveals. Pain builds. Pain shows you exactly where your limits are. It brings your fears to the surface. It strips away illusions, and it forces you to meet yourself without filters. But more importantly, pain builds things nothing else can. Resilience, patience, perspective. Strength. Think of the strongest people you know, not the loudest, not the flashiest, but the ones with depth, presence, and grit. Ask them how they got that way. You'll hear the same answer every time. They earned it in pain. Section 3. How to stop fearing pain. Here's the shift. Don't resist pain. Respect it. Don't fear discomfort. Welcome it as feedback. Because pain is trying to teach you something. It's trying to grow you. Pain is your coach, not your curse. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this building in me? That one question can change your entire path. Section 4. The comfort trap. Comfort has a price, and that price is your potential. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the idea that you're not built for challenge. You teach your brain to take the easy route. And eventually, your identity shrinks to fit the path of least resistance. But discomfort expands you. Every time you lean into hard conversations, intense workouts, challenging projects. Emotional healing, you expand your capacity. You grow your tolerance for pressure, and pressure creates diamonds. Section 5. The discomfort inventory. It's time to face your discomfort. In your workbook, you'll find the discomfort inventory. Here's how it works. List 5 things you've been avoiding that cause discomfort, mentally, emotionally, or physically. These are things like having a difficult conversation, changing your diet, waking up earlier, setting a boundary, or facing a failure. Then, for each one, write the truth. What growth am I delaying by avoiding this? What version of me is waiting on the other side of this discomfort? Once you see that clearly, the pain becomes a portal, not a punishment. Section 6. Fear, pain, and failure are fuel. Most people let fear stop them. You're going to start letting it guide you, because fear is directional. It points to what matters. And failure. Failure is just feedback. It's a lesson in raw form. The people who dominate life are the ones who stopped running from pain and started mining it for power. Pain becomes fuel when you decide it's not a wall, it's a workout. And you don't run from workouts, you train through them. Section 7. The Pain to Power Reflection Drill. Let's get tactical. Think of a painful experience, one that shaped you, hurt you, or knocked you down. Now answer 3 questions. 1. What did that experience reveal about me? 2. What strength did I develop through it? 3. How am I stronger because of it, not in spite of it? Write your answers in the workbook under the Pain 2 Power Reflection Drill. Do this for multiple experiences. You'll be shocked at how much strength is hiding in your story. Section 8. Building Pain Tolerance Daily. You don't need to seek out suffering. Life will provide enough on its own, but you do need to train your pain tolerance by leaning into discomfort daily. Start small. Wake up earlier. Hold the last rep at the gym. Say no when it's easier to say yes. Sit with your emotions instead of numbing them. Each time you lean in, you teach yourself, I don't run, I rise. That's the identity of someone who becomes unbreakable. Section 9. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook now. Complete the discomfort inventory. List 5 discomforts you've been avoiding. Then complete the Pain 2 Power Reflection Drill for at least one powerful experience from your past. Answer honestly. Feel it. Face it. Reframe it. Because from this chapter forward, pain will no longer be your weakness. It will be your weapon. Let's keep rising. Chapter 5. Discipline over mood. Let's get something straight right now. Your feelings are valid. But they are not your leader. You can feel tired. You can feel unmotivated. You can feel unsure. But those feelings don't get to decide your actions. Discipline does. The people who win long-term in business, in health, in life aren't the ones who feel good every day. They're the ones who act with consistency, no matter how they feel. Today, we're going to build that version of you. Section 1. Motivation is a liar. Let's expose the myth of motivation. Motivation is a mood. It's a temporary state like being hungry, sleepy, or excited. It's not reliable. If your behavior depends on whether or not you're motivated, your results will always be inconsistent. Discipline is different. Discipline is a decision followed by repetition that becomes a habit. You don't need to feel like doing something to do it. You just need to decide that it matters more than your current mood. Section 2. Why discipline wins. Discipline creates freedom. When your actions are predictable, your results become powerful. Discipline frees up mental energy. It eliminates decision fatigue. It creates rhythm, structure, flow. You don't waste time debating whether or not to act. You just act. This is what elite performers do. They make key behaviors automatic. Section 3. The science of consistency. Let's talk neuroscience. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. That's why it loves habits, repeated behaviors that run on autopilot. When you perform an action consistently, it becomes encoded in your neural circuitry. Eventually, it becomes easier to do the action than to avoid it. This is where discipline becomes identity. At first, you need willpower. But over time, it becomes who you are. You're no longer trying to be disciplined. You're just being yourself. Section 4. Your daily non-negotiables. Every high performer has non-negotiables, small daily disciplines that reinforce their identity and fuel their progress. These aren't extreme, they're foundational. They might look like, wake up at 5:30 a.m., train for 45 minutes, read 10 pages, eat clean meals. Review goals before bed. These habits create a rhythm that builds momentum. In your workbook, you'll create your own daily systems tracker, a simple tool to track your non-negotiables. Consistency builds confidence, and confidence builds capacity. Section 5. The habit loop. Here's how every habit works. Cue gives routine, gives reward. The cue triggers the behavior. The routine is the action you take. The reward reinforces it, telling your brain, let's do that again. Want to install a new habit? Start by identifying the cue. Is it time-based, location-based, emotional? Then design the routine. Keep it simple. Start small. And finally, stack in a reward, something that makes your brain associate that action with satisfaction or success. Section 6. The 30-Day Microdiscipline Challenge. In your workbook, you'll find the 30-Day Microdiscipline Challenge. Here's how it works. Pick one small action that reflects the person you want to become. Do it every single day for 30 days, no exceptions. Examples: 1 minute cold shower, 10 push-ups, 5 minutes of silence. Write down 3 priorities. Keep it small, but consistent. Why? Because the brain doesn't care how big the action is. It cares how reliable you are. This challenge builds your ability to follow through regardless of mood. Section 7. Discipline is self-respect. When you say you're going to do something and then do it, you prove to yourself that your word matters. That builds trust. That builds integrity. That builds inner strength. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect in motion. Every time you follow through, you reinforce the belief, I'm the kind of person who does what they say. That belief is priceless. Section 8. Identity through action. You don't need to wait to feel like the disciplined version of you. Act like them now. Move like them now. Speak like them now. Discipline is not something you wait to have. It's something you decide to express. And through that expression, your identity begins to shift. Section 9. Action plus reflection. Now open your workbook and complete the following. Design your top 3 daily non-negotiables. Map your most important habit loops. Q gives routine, gives reward. Choose your 30-day micro-discipline challenge. Track it daily using the system's tracker. And each night, reflect. Did I lead with mood or with mission? Did I wait to feel good or did I follow through anyway? Discipline is your edge. Use it. Let's keep building. Chapter 6. Fortress of Focus. Let's start with a truth that's hard to hear. In today's world, attention is the most valuable currency, and most people are broke. Notifications, scrolling, multitasking, constant input. Your mind is being pulled in 100 directions every single day. And if you don't train your focus, you will live distracted, diluted, and disconnected from your own potential. This chapter is about building a fortress around your focus. Not a fragile schedule, not a half-hearted routine. A fortress. Because the ability to control your attention is the ability to control your results. Section 1. Distraction is the enemy of execution. Every time you get distracted, your mind pays a cost. It takes time to refocus, energy to reset, momentum to rebuild. And the worst part? You don't just lose time, you lose confidence. You begin to forget what deep work feels like. You normalize scattered thinking. You stop trusting your ability to follow through. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Section 2. The power of deep work. Deep work is focused, distraction-free concentration on something that matters. It's when your mind enters a state of flow. You're fully locked in. Time disappears. Output increases. Creativity expands. This is where mastery lives. Whether you're writing, designing, building, training, or strategizing, deep work is how top performers outpace the world. And it's not about working more. It's about working cleaner. Section 3. Your focus has a price. Let's get clear. Focus is not free. In a world that profits from your distraction, you must pay to protect your attention. Pay in preparation. Pay in boundaries. Pay in intention. Because if you don't decide where your focus goes, someone else will. Section 4. The 3 focus enemies. There are 3 major enemies of focus. Number 1, digital distraction. Social media, inboxes, notifications. These hijack your dopamine and fracture your brain's ability to concentrate. Number 2, mental clutter. Unfinished tasks, loose ends, open loops. When your mind is full of shoulds, your focus fragments. Number 3, weak boundaries. Saying yes to everything. Letting people interrupt. Letting urgency overtake importance. Your job is to eliminate these enemies one by one. Section 5. The Focus Protocol. Inside your workbook, you'll find the Focus Protocol, a daily process designed to protect your mind and create deep work sessions. Here's the breakdown. Step 1. Clear the noise. Silence notifications. Close tabs. Put your phone in another room. Step 2. Set the intention. What are you about to focus on? Why does it matter? Step 3. Create a ritual. Use a trigger to signal focus mode, a playlist, a specific location, a breathing pattern. Step 4. Block your time. 45 minutes of deep work. 15-minute break. Repeat. Step 5. Reflect and log. What did you complete? Where did you drift? What will you improve tomorrow? Repeat this protocol daily, and your focus will sharpen like a blade. Section 6. The 7-Day Distraction Detox. Let's take it further. Your challenge. Complete a 7-day distraction detox. Each day, eliminate one distraction from your environment or routine and replace it with intention. Examples. Day 1. Remove all social media apps from your phone. Day 2. Mute non-essential notifications. Day 3. Block distracting websites during work hours. Day 4. Create a morning routine without screens. Day 5. Set boundaries around interruptions. Day 6. Schedule daily deep work blocks. Day 7. Complete your first focus protocol log. This is a reset, not a restriction. You're not giving things up. You're taking your power back. Section 7. Flow state journaling. Flow is your most productive and creative state, but it's fragile. The key to unlocking flow consistently is learning what triggers it for you. In your workbook, use the flow state journal to track when and how you entered deep work. Log the time of day, your energy levels, what environment you were in, what tools helped. Over time, you'll see patterns, and those patterns will become a personal playbook for focus. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Now go to your workbook and complete the following. Map your top 3 distractions and the cost of each. Set up your daily focus protocol. Begin your 7-day distraction detox. Start your flow state journal and log your next deep work session. Then ask yourself, where am I leaking attention daily? Where can I take radical ownership of my focus? You already have the power to concentrate at a world-class level, but it won't happen by accident. Build the fortress, protect the gates, and dominate your focus. Let's lock in. Chapter 7. The Self-Talk Shift. Here's something few people realize. The most powerful voice you'll ever hear isn't your coach, your parent, or your mentor. It's your own, because the voice in your head is always speaking. And over time, it becomes your identity. If that voice is weak, your actions will be weak. If that voice is critical, your confidence will be crushed. But if that voice is powerful, clear, grounded, disciplined, you become unstoppable. In this chapter, we're going to rewire the way you speak to yourself. Section 1. The Invisible Script. Most people live by an invisible script, a pattern of self-talk they didn't choose. It's made up of what they heard growing up, what they absorbed from failure, what they picked up from rejection or pain. And the problem? They repeat that script every day without even noticing it. I always mess up. I'm not built for this. This never works for me. It sounds like truth, but it's just repetition. You've been rehearsing powerlessness, and now it ends. Section 2. Your voice creates your world. What you say to yourself becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes how you behave. And how you behave becomes who you are. That's the chain reaction of identity. It all starts with your inner dialogue. This is why top performers obsess over self-talk. They don't let their internal voice run wild. They train it. And that's what you're going to do. Section 3. The Power of Intentional Language. Language is energy. Words carry weight. Every time you say, I can't, I'm tired, this is hard, your brain believes you. It looks for evidence to prove you right. But when you flip the script, everything changes. I'm built for this. I'm tired, but I keep moving. This is hard, and I love that. These aren't just positive thoughts. They are identity codes. and the more you say them, the more real they become. Section 4. Catch, challenge, change. Let's make it tactical. Here's the 3-step method to shift your self-talk in real time. Step 1. Catch it. Listen for the voice in moments of stress, doubt, or fatigue. Step 2. Challenge it. Ask, is this voice helping me grow or keeping me small? Step 3. Change it. Replace it with a new phrase that aligns with the person you're becoming. Example: old thought, I can't handle this. New phrase, I breathe. I slow down. I handle pressure with clarity. Repetition is key. Say it, write it, repeat it, install it. Section 5. Create your power script. Now it's time to build your power script. In your workbook, you'll find a section to rewrite your top 5 recurring negative thoughts. For each one, create a new power phrase, present tense, energizing, identity-based. Example: negative, I never finish what I start. Power phrase, I follow through. I finish. That's who I am now. Make your phrases simple, repeatable, and emotionally charged. Then say them out loud every single morning. Section 6. Morning Power Affirmation Practice. This is where it becomes a habit. Every morning, before the noise of the day begins, speak your power script out loud. Stand up, shoulders back, eyes forward. Say it with belief, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Why? Because your nervous system listens to tone and posture. When you speak with conviction, your identity begins to shift. Do this for 30 days, and your internal voice will sound different, stronger, cleaner, sharper. Section 7. Speak from the future. When in doubt, ask, how would the future version of me speak? Not just about goals, but about themselves. Would they speak with doubt, with fear, with hesitation? Or would they speak with certainty, with clarity, with grounded power? Practice borrowing the language of your future self. Eventually, it becomes your natural voice. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook now and complete these steps. Write your top 5 negative self-talk phrases. Rewrite each as a power phrase aligned with your highest identity. Create your morning power affirmation script. Commit to speaking it daily for the next 30 days. And remember this, you are always listening. The question is, are you building yourself up or breaking yourself down? Train your voice, lead your mind, and speak your power into existence. Let's go. Welcome to Chapter 8. Choose pressure. If there's one thing that separates the average from the unbreakable, it's this. Most people avoid pressure. The unbreakable seek it. Because pressure isn't the enemy, it's the portal. Pressure reveals who you are. Pressure develops who you become. And in this chapter, you're going to learn how to use pressure to build confidence, develop resilience, and accelerate personal growth. Section 1. Why we fear pressure. Let's be honest. Most people don't fear pressure itself. They fear what it might expose. They fear the possibility of failing. They fear being seen trying and not succeeding. They fear not being good enough. But here's the truth. Pressure doesn't create weakness. It reveals areas that need to be strengthened. It shows you the gap between who you are and who you want to be. And that's not something to avoid. That's something to run toward. Section 2. The psychology of stress and stretch. There are 2 types of stress, destructive and developmental. Destructive stress breaks you down when it's unmanaged, chronic, or misaligned. Developmental stress is intentional. It's challenge that's aligned with growth. It pushes you into your stretch zone, just beyond what's comfortable, but not so far that it creates panic. That stretch zone is where the magic happens. It's where your capacity expands. Your confidence builds. Your nervous system adapts. Your identity levels up. Section 3. Training with tolerance. Here's the key principle. Confidence isn't built by avoiding pressure. It's built by surviving pressure again and again. Every time you step into pressure and keep your composure, you teach your nervous system. We can handle this. It's like building a muscle. The more you train under pressure, emotionally, physically, socially, the more you develop pressure tolerance. And pressure tolerance is the mark of the unbreakable. Section 4. Your relationship with pressure. Take a moment to reflect. What is your default reaction to pressure? Do you rise or do you freeze? Do you lean in or do you look for a way out? The goal here is awareness, not judgment. Because once you see the pattern, you can change the response. In your workbook, you'll assess your pressure response and begin to reframe how you view challenge and intensity. Section 5. The power of controlled exposure. Here's the strategy. Expose yourself to controlled pressure regularly. This means intentionally doing hard things that stretch your emotional and physical comfort zones with the intention of building confidence. It could be speaking up when you'd rather stay silent, starting something before you feel ready. Cold exposure. Public speaking, tough conversations, deliberate discomfort. Every exposure is a rep. And the more reps you collect, the stronger you become. Section 6. The Pressure Exposure Planner. In your workbook, you'll find the Pressure Exposure Planner. Here's how to use it. List 3 areas where you currently avoid pressure. Then, design one small action per week to expose yourself to that type of stress in a controlled way. Example: avoided pressure, leading meetings. Pressure practice: volunteer to open next week's meeting. Each task should feel uncomfortable but achievable. This is how you stretch, safely, intentionally, repeatedly. Section 7. The weekly pressure practice task. Now let's put this into motion. Each week, you will select and complete one pressure practice task, something that makes your palms sweat a little but moves you closer to confidence. After each experience, reflect. What did I feel? What did I learn? What would I do differently next time? This builds self-trust, and self-trust is earned under pressure. Section 8. Reframing pressure as privilege. Here's a mindset shift. Pressure is a privilege. It means you're in the game. It means you're leveling up. Means life is asking more from you because you're capable of more. Don't resent that. Rise to meet it. Section 9. Action plus reflection. Now open your workbook and complete the following. Identify 3 areas where you tend to avoid pressure. Create one pressure exposure task for each. Begin your weekly pressure practice and reflect on your response after each challenge. And as you move forward, ask yourself daily, am I choosing comfort or capacity? Because you are either avoiding the stress that will grow you, or walking straight into it and becoming someone stronger because of it. Choose pressure. Own it. Let's build. Chapter 9. Detach from the outcome. If you've ever chased a goal so hard that it left you drained, bitter, or burned out, this chapter is for you. Because chasing results with desperation doesn't lead to greatness. It leads to frustration, inconsistency, and emotional chaos. What you need is an obsession over the outcome. What you need is complete ownership of the process and the mindset to stay steady even when results are slow. This chapter is about emotional detachment, not from your dreams, but from your need for immediate proof. Section 1. The Obsession Trap. Let's start with the trap most driven people fall into. You set a goal. You start strong. You feel momentum. But then progress slows. The scale doesn't move. The followers don't grow. The money doesn't come. And now you panic. You spiral. You question everything. Why? Because your self-worth was tied to the outcome. And when that outcome didn't arrive fast enough, your identity wobbled. This is the obsession trap, and it destroys more dreams than failure ever could. Section 2. What detachment really means. Detachment isn't about lowering your standards. It's not about letting go of goals. It's about removing emotional volatility from the process. It means this: I'm committed to the result, but I don't need the result to feel strong, focused, or in control. That's power. That's emotional freedom. And it's available to you right now. Section 3. Control the process. Trust the timing. Here's the truth. You can't control when the outcome comes. But you can control how deeply you show up for the process, day in, day out. With excellence, with discipline, with zero emotional bargaining. That's how long-term winners think. They don't get distracted by outcomes. They obsess over execution because they know results are a lagging indicator of repetition. Section 4. Why detachment builds power. Detachment builds a quiet kind of strength. You no longer ride emotional roller coasters. You stop reacting to metrics, numbers, and applause. You get calm, focused, relentless, because you know who you are and what you're building, whether the world validates it yet or not. That's the mindset of someone who doesn't just achieve, they last. Section 5. Building a process identity. When you focus only on results, your identity gets fragile. You feel strong when things go well. You feel weak when they don't. But when you build a process-based identity, your confidence becomes untouchable. You stop asking, "Is this working?" And you start asking, "Did I work the system today?" That question is everything. Section 6. The Process Commitment Contract. In your workbook, you'll find the Process Commitment Contract. You'll write out exactly what you will commit to daily, weekly, and monthly, regardless of results. This becomes your anchor. Example: daily, 60 minutes of deep work, no phone distractions. Weekly, publish one high-value piece of content. Monthly, evaluate progress and reset intentions, not emotions. This contract isn't for motivation, it's for identity. Section 7. Daily Detachment Check-in. Detachment is a muscle. You train it through repetition and awareness. Each day, take 2 minutes to answer 3 questions. 1. Did I show up for my process today? 2. Where did I let the outcome affect my energy? 3. What will I double down on tomorrow, regardless of results? This is your daily detachment check-in. Use it to stay grounded, focused, and free. Section 8. Trust the lag. Every result has a delay. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not working. The seed doesn't sprout on day 1. The roots grow in silence. Your job is to keep watering, stay steady, and stop digging up the soil to see if it's growing. Section 9. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Write your process commitment contract. Set 1, 2, 3 non-negotiable actions per day or week that anchor your focus. Begin your daily detachment check-in and reflect on your consistency, not your outcomes. And remember this: when you let go of needing the outcome to validate you, you become more powerful than ever. Let's stay locked in. Welcome to Chapter 10, Stillness as Strength. In a world that rewards urgency, noise, and constant motion, stillness is a radical act of power. Stillness is not weakness. It's not laziness. It's not inaction. Stillness is strategy. It's awareness. It's command. And in this chapter, you'll learn how to use meditation, breathwork, and present moment awareness to build internal clarity, regulate emotion, and move through life with grounded control. Because the strongest people don't react, they respond. And response requires stillness. Section 1. The Myth of Constant Motion. We're taught to stay busy, hustle harder, do more. But constant movement without direction is chaos. Noise doesn't equal progress. Movement without pause leads to burnout, emotional volatility, and bad decisions. The most effective people in the world have one thing in common. They know how to pause on purpose. Section 2. Why stillness creates power. Stillness isn't the absence of thought. It's the intentional slowing down of reaction. It creates a gap, a moment between stimulus and response. In that gap, you regain your power. You regulate your nervous system. You quiet mental clutter. You see your situation with clarity instead of panic. Stillness lets you respond with precision instead of react with emotion. And in a high-pressure world, that ability is a superpower. Section 3. Rewiring your nervous system. When you practice stillness through breathwork or meditation, you retrain your body to stay calm under stress. You build emotional flexibility. You stop operating from fight or flight and start operating from presence. And from presence comes better choices, better timing, better leadership. This is not soft. This is mental sharpness at the highest level. Section 4. The tools of stillness. There are 3 core tools to begin with. Tool 1. Breathwork. Use your breath to calm your system. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Repeat. Tool 2. Meditation. Sit in silence for 5 to 10 minutes daily. Focus on your breath or body. When your mind wanders, gently return. Tool 3. Presence training. During the day, pause. Take a single breath. Notice your surroundings. Reset your awareness. These small practices sharpen your mind and strengthen your emotional control. Section 5. The 7-Day Stillness Sprint. In your workbook, you'll find the 7-Day Stillness Sprint. Here's how it works. Each day, you'll complete a stillness practice, even if it's just 5 minutes. You'll track what you practiced, how you felt before, how you felt after, what you noticed internally. This isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. You're teaching your body and brain to find power in pause. Section 6. Stillness before strategy. Stillness isn't a retreat. It's preparation. Before high-pressure meetings, before difficult conversations, before decisions. Pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Slow your mind, reset your nervous system. This creates space for wisdom, not just impulse. And that space, it's what separates leaders from reactors. Section 7. Stillness isn't escape. It's access. Stillness gives you access to your intuition, to your clarity, to your highest self. When you're constantly reacting, you can't hear yourself. When you slow down, you hear the signal beneath the noise. That's where truth lives. That's where calm, grounded strength is born. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Start your 7-day stillness sprint. Track your daily breathwork or meditation. Reflect in the journal prompts after each session. Identify one area of your life where you will begin pausing before reacting. And as you move forward, ask yourself daily, am I leading from noise or from presence? Because the world doesn't need more speed, it needs more clarity. Stillness is not optional, it's essential. Let's slow down and step forward with strength. Welcome to Chapter 11, The Armor of Self-Respect. Self-respect is not a luxury. It's not optional. It's not negotiable. It is the armor that protects your time, your energy, your standards, and your identity. When you respect yourself deeply, you no longer tolerate what drains you. You stop over-explaining. You stop people-pleasing. You stop betraying your values just to keep the peace. Because true peace begins with personal boundaries. And boundaries begin with self-respect. Section 1. What is self-respect? Self-respect is the inner signal that says, I matter. It's not arrogance. It's not pride. It's not being above others. It's recognizing your own worth and refusing to live beneath it. It means you keep your promises to yourself. You say no when it's right. You speak truth, even when it's uncomfortable. And you take actions that align with your values, not your fears. Section 2. You train others by how you treat yourself. Here's a hard truth. People mirror what you model. If you constantly overextend, minimize your needs, or abandon your boundaries, don't be surprised when others do the same. You are always training others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. Want more respect from others? Start by giving it to yourself. Section 3. Signs your self-respect is compromised. Do any of these sound familiar? You say yes when you mean no. You avoid setting boundaries because it feels mean. You over-explain your decisions to avoid judgment. You tolerate disrespect because you fear conflict. These aren't personality quirks. They're signs that your self-respect is leaking, and it's time to patch those leaks. Section 4. The link between boundaries and identity. Boundaries aren't walls. They're filters. They don't push people away. They keep the wrong energies out so the right ones can come closer. Every time you set a boundary, you reinforce your identity. You say to the world and to yourself, "This is who I am. This is what I allow. This is how I move." That's not weakness. That's authority. Section 5. The Respect Reset Framework. In your workbook, you'll find the Respect Reset Framework. It walks you through 3 powerful steps. 1. Identify where you are overgiving, over-explaining, or overextending. 2. Define what your standard actually is for time, communication, space, or energy. 3. Declare your new boundary with clarity and calm. You'll write these out, practice them, speak them aloud. Because new boundaries require new language and bold self-honor. Section 6. The Boundary Blueprint Builder. Now it's time to get tactical. Using the Boundary Blueprint Builder in your workbook, you'll craft 3 specific boundaries you will set this month. Each boundary includes the situation or relationship, your new standard, the phrase you will use to express it. Remember, boundaries are not punishments. They are permissions. You're giving yourself permission to protect your peace. Section 7. Building the habit of self-respect. Self-respect is not a one-time event. It's a daily habit. It's built in the micro-decisions. The text you don't send when it compromises your dignity. The invitation you decline because your rest matters. The silence you hold when you no longer need to defend yourself. Every act of self-respect strengthens your armor. And the stronger your armor, the less you'll chase external validation. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Use the Respect Reset Framework to assess 3 areas of boundary breakdown. Use the Boundary Blueprint Builder to craft and prepare your new boundaries. Commit to honoring your own standards daily, even when it's uncomfortable. And remember this. Every time you protect your time, your energy, or your values, you tell the world, "I respect myself enough to lead my life." Let's build the armor and wear it proudly. Welcome to Chapter 12. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Confidence is not built in the spotlight. It's built in silence. It's built in those quiet moments when no one is watching, but you still follow through. It's built when you say you'll do something, and then you do it. Again and again. That's how self-trust is formed. That's how credibility is earned. And in this chapter, you'll learn how to become someone whose word to themselves is law. Section 1. The Foundation of Unbreakable Confidence. Forget hype. Forget hype men. Forget external praise. The deepest confidence you'll ever feel comes from knowing, when I say something, I mean it. I follow through. Always. This isn't about motivation. It's about integrity. The more consistently you do what you say you'll do, the more unstoppable you become. Because self-trust is the foundation of personal power. Section 2. How self-betrayal destroys trust. Think about this. Every time you tell yourself you're going to wake up early, and you don't. Every time you commit to a habit and break it within days. Every time you say you're going to change, and you don't follow through, you erode your own credibility. Eventually, your brain stops believing you. You don't trust your own promises because you've broken them too many times. And that lack of trust, it shows up everywhere. In your posture, in your choices, in your voice. Section 3. The Power of Micro-Promises. Here's how to rebuild trust, 1 brick at a time. Start small, start specific, start now. Make micro-promises. These are simple, clear commitments that you will absolutely follow through on. Example, I will drink 1 glass of water after I wake up. I will do 10 push-ups after I brush my teeth. I will journal for 5 minutes every night. The key? They must be winnable, measurable, unshakable. These small wins compound, and over time, they rewire your identity. Section 4. The Promise to Self Tracker. In your workbook, you'll find the Promise to Self Tracker. Use it to record your daily micro-promises. Each day, write down 1, 2, 3 things you commit to. Then, at night, check off what you completed. This builds your personal credibility day by day. It's not about streaks, it's about integrity. Section 5. The Micro-Promise Execution Plan. Now, let's build your plan. In your workbook, you'll find the Micro-Promise Execution Plan. Use it to identify the exact habit, time, and trigger for your new promises. Example: promise, stretch for 2 minutes after waking up. Trigger, when I shut off my alarm. Time, 6 a.m. Duration, 2 minutes. Clear, simple, actionable. When your promises are easy to visualize and execute, they're harder to break. Section 6. Building your self-trust score. At the end of each week, rate your self-trust. Ask yourself, did I follow through on what I said I would do? Where did I hesitate, delay, or break trust? What pattern needs adjusting? Be honest, not judgmental. This is how you course correct before you spiral. Section 7. The Energy of a Self-Led Life. Here's what happens when you consistently keep promises to yourself. You stop seeking external validation. You start moving with quiet certainty. You make decisions faster. You speak more clearly. You walk differently. Because you no longer need proof, you are the proof. That's the energy of someone who leads themselves. And that energy is magnetic. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Start using the Promise to Self Tracker. Choose 1, 2, 3 micro-promises and commit to completing them daily. Fill out the micro-promise execution plan for each. Reflect at the end of each week. Did I earn my own trust today? And remember, the person who trusts themselves becomes impossible to shake. Let's build that trust. Let's become that person. Chapter 13. Who you are when no one's watching. In a world obsessed with appearances, likes, and recognition, the real you doesn't show up on stage. It shows up in silence. It shows up when no one's around to clap, to praise, or to notice. It shows up in how you act when there are no eyes on you and no reward on the line. Because the person you are in private is the person you truly are. Section 1. The Truth about Private Standards. Anyone can perform when the spotlight's on. But private standards, those invisible rules you live by when no one's watching, they're what define your character. Do you push yourself when no one will give you credit? Do you keep your word when there's no consequence? Do you stay aligned with your values even when it's easier to cut corners? That's integrity. And integrity builds identity. Section 2. Silent self-discipline. Self-discipline doesn't mean you grind 24/7. It means you keep your promises in silence. It means you do the thing not for validation, not for applause, but because it's who you are. It's the quiet reps no one sees. It's waking up early when no one's tracking. It's training, studying, practicing not because you have to, but because you choose to. This kind of discipline, it's magnetic. It creates confidence that can't be faked. Section 3. The Power of Delayed Gratification. Every time you delay gratification, you train your nervous system to lead instead of react. When you resist the impulse to check your phone, to say what's easy, to chase comfort, you gain power. Every time you choose the long term over the immediate, you sharpen your identity. You become someone who isn't run by emotion or impulse. You become someone who owns themselves. Section 4. Authenticity is a private practice. Authenticity is not what you post online. It's how you treat your goals when no one's looking. It's how you speak about others when they're not in the room. It's how honest you are with yourself about your weaknesses, your strengths, your actions. When your private self and public self match, you walk differently. You speak with calm. You lead with peace. Because there's nothing to hide. Section 5. Shadow Self-Reflection. In your workbook, you'll find the Shadow Self-Reflection Journal. This is where you face the version of you that shows up when the lights are off. The self that no one else sees. The patterns that live in secrecy. And the truth about what you do when accountability disappears. You'll answer questions like, what do I hide from others? What standards do I drop when I'm alone? What would change if I lived privately with the same strength I show publicly? These questions aren't easy, but they are essential. Section 6. The Private Wins Accountability Challenge. Now, let's turn reflection into action. In your workbook, you'll find the Private Wins Accountability Challenge. For 7 days, you'll track one habit done in silence. No sharing, no validation. No one needs to know. Just you. Your discipline. Your standard. At the end of each day, you'll check in. Did I win privately today? Did I live up to my own standard, even when no one saw? This trains the muscle of integrity. And integrity is the fuel for every real transformation. Section 7. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Fill out your Shadow Self-Reflection Journal. Choose one habit for your 7-day Private Wins Challenge. At the end of the week, ask yourself, am I proud of who I was when no one was watching? Because this chapter isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When who you are in private matches who you are in public, you become unshakable. Let's build that kind of integrity, one quiet win at a time. Welcome to Chapter 14, The Rebuild Ritual. If discipline is the engine of performance, recovery is the fuel. Without proper recovery, your discipline burns out, your clarity fades. Your energy leaks, and no matter how strong your goals are, you won't last. Recovery isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's where your body, mind, and spirit absorb the strength you've trained for. In this chapter, we shift the focus from pushing harder to rebuilding stronger. Section 1. The Myth of Relentless Grind. We live in a culture that glorifies exhaustion, hustle, push, grind, never stop. But here's the truth. Without rhythm, there is no power. Without recovery, there is no resilience. Champions don't just train hard, they recover hard. That's how they maintain intensity over time. That's how they show up strong when it matters most. Section 2. What recovery actually means. Recovery isn't laziness. It's not zoning out or scrolling until your brain's numb. It's intentional replenishment. It's creating the conditions for your system to reset mentally, physically, emotionally. Recovery is sleep. It's deep nutrition. It's quiet. It's hydration. It's boundaries. It's restoration. It's the ritual that allows your hustle to become sustainable. Section 3. Signs you're under-recovered. Let's be real. Are you actually resting? Here are signs you're not recovering enough. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep. You're irritated or anxious more often than not. You can't focus or stay present. Your workouts or creative output are flat. You've stopped enjoying what you used to love. These aren't just mood swings. They're warning signs. Your system is drained. It needs rebuilding. Section 4. Energy is everything. Recovery is about energy management. Because energy is your ultimate currency. Not time, not money, not status. Energy. The more energy you can generate, preserve, and direct, the more powerful your results. Your goal isn't to do more. Your goal is to do less with more energy. Section 5. Your Rebuild Ritual. In your workbook, you'll find the Rebuild Ritual Design Sheet. It helps you structure personalized recovery routines in 4 key areas. 1. Sleep. 2. Nutrition. 3. Mental stillness. 4. Physical reset. You'll assess where your rituals are weak and build new ones that support your long-term success. This isn't about perfection. It's about rhythm. Section 6. Personal Energy Audit. Before you design your ritual, run a personal energy audit. In your workbook, you'll find a set of questions to track where your energy drains and what restores it. You'll identify what people, places, or habits energize you. What depletes you consistently? What's your current energy level each day? Morning, noon, and night. Awareness is power. When you know your leaks, you can plug them. Section 7. Rebuilding for longevity. Burnout doesn't happen because you work too hard. It happens because you don't recover with the same intensity that you train. Longevity in performance, in leadership, in impact comes from restoration. The rebuild ritual is where you stay sharp, where your nervous system calms down, where your soul gets space. Section 8. Action plus reflection. Open your workbook and complete the following. Fill out your personal energy audit. Use the Rebuild Ritual Design Sheet to create recovery routines for sleep, fuel, and focus. Choose one recovery habit to lock in this week and track it daily. You don't become unbreakable by going harder. You become unbreakable by learning when to stop, reset, and rise again, stronger. Let's build your ritual. Let's rebuild your power. Chapter 15. You are the standard now. You've come a long way. You've broken down what doesn't serve you. You've rebuilt what makes you unshakable. And now, it's time to own it. This chapter is about integration, not addition. You don't need more tips, hacks, or routines. You need embodiment. You need to live it. Because the way you walk, the way you lead, the way you show up, that's your message. Section 1. From improvement to integration. There's a time to consume. There's a time to learn. But there's also a time to live it. You've studied discipline, built identity, mastered reaction, owned your energy, created your rituals. Now, your job isn't to keep chasing new strategies. It's to integrate what you already know. Let it run through every part of your life. When your habits become your default, your identity becomes unshakable. Section 2. You are the standard. Here's what happens when you stop outsourcing the standard. You become it. You no longer wait for permission. You no longer seek validation. You lead from within. You show others what's possible, not by talking, but by being. Your boundaries, your tone, your posture, your attention, they all become reminders of who you are. That's real leadership. That's quiet dominance. That's what happens when you stop being a follower of motivation and start being a creator of momentum. Section 3. Your life is the message. What message does your life speak? Not your posts, not your quotes, not your playlists. Your decisions, your attitude, your energy. That's what people feel. And more importantly, that's what you feel, because you live inside the consequences of your own standards. So elevate them, then meet them, daily. Section 4. Your legacy vision. In your workbook, you'll find the legacy vision and manifesto template. This is where you write the story of your future now. Not a wish list, not a fantasy. A declaration, who you are, what you stand for, what will remain because you chose to show up fully. You'll answer, what is the core message of my life? Who am I when no one is watching? What impact will I leave, whether seen or unseen? What will my daily life model for others? Section 5. The Unbreakable You Action Plan. You're not done. Because this isn't a finish line, it's a new level. In your workbook, you'll find your 90-day Unbreakable You Action Plan. This is where you lock in the work. You'll choose 3 pillars to focus on. You'll create 1 micro-action per pillar, and you'll track your growth over 90 days. This isn't about proving anything. It's about becoming more and more of who you already are. Section 6. Final Reflection. Look at where you started. Now look at where you are. You've built the mind. You've fortified the emotions. You've created identity. You've honored discipline. You've respected stillness. You've owned your private standards. You've recovered, rebuilt, risen, Now you lead. This is no longer a transformation. It's a way of life. You are the standard now. Let that be your message. Let that be your legacy. Let that be who you are, even when no one's watching, even when no one applauds, even when no one believes. Because you believe, because you became it, because you live it. Let's rise. Conclusion: you made it. Not just to the end of a book, but to the beginning of a new version of yourself. Take a moment, breathe it in. This entire journey wasn't about becoming someone else. It was about remembering who you really are and rising into it fully. You've faced the hard truths. You've rewritten the quiet patterns. You've built new standards, forged emotional strength, and stepped into the power of your own identity. You've learned how to master your reactions, own your focus, respect your word, and rebuild from within. And most importantly, you've proven to yourself that you can grow, that you can lead yourself, and that no matter what happens around you, you are the one thing that doesn't break. That's unshakable confidence. That's earned self-trust. That's power. Now, the path ahead is yours to walk. You don't need permission. The habits, the mindset, the rituals, they're in you now. They don't live in a book or in a course. They live in your choices, in your presence, in your consistency. So go, live it. Start today, not with perfection, but with ownership. Every quiet win, every aligned action, every moment you choose standards over excuses, you elevate. And remember, you're not walking alone. This journey isn't just yours, it's ours. We are a growing community of people rising together. People who've chosen to live awake, live accountable, and live powerful. So if this audiobook moved you, share your story. Leave a comment, start a conversation. Let others know they're not alone. Let's normalize discipline. Let's normalize healing. Let's normalize emotional power and purpose-driven lives. And if you haven't yet, download the free companion workbooks. They're packed with tools, reflections, and challenges to deepen your growth. No cost, just value. And if this work has served you and you'd like to support future content, contributions are always appreciated, and they help this movement grow. Most importantly, keep showing up. You are the standard now, and someone out there is waiting for your example. Let's rise together. If this journey changed you, share it, post about it, send it to someone who needs it. Let's create a ripple of unstoppable minds, rising in silence, rising with strength, and rising for real change. This is just the beginning. Let's go.